So a warm welcome from my side as well. Really appreciate to be here and to be part of this conference. It's really fantastic. Today, I will focus on the path to ABAP Cloud. So what I will show you in the next 45 minutes, hopefully, if the clicker works. If not, then I do this directly here. If it works there, here we go. So during the next 45 minutes, I will first explain you what ABAP Cloud is about. That's really essential because that's how you will develop ABAP now, hopefully, but at least in the future. Therefore, it's really important to learn it. And I will show you the evolution from classic ABAP, perhaps most of you are still using classic ABAP, to ABAP Cloud, and why we are doing that. Why do we move to ABAP Cloud? What is the reason behind that? And additionally, in the second section, I will show you, okay, that's now ABAP Cloud. Where do I use it? How can I use it? So what is more or less in for me in my day-to-day work? So let's start with the path to ABAP Cloud. And I use here, perhaps you know that, if you're a cyclist, for example, then you know that road, because it's the old road to the Gebhardt path in Switzerland. And I will use that picture to explain you the road from classic ABAP to ABAP Cloud. And we do this curve by curve, more or less. We all started more or less, some even in R2 I learned to use ABAP in the business suite, in ECC. And ABAP has always been more or less, the purpose of ABAP has always been to be optimized for business applications, to build business applications in the SAP ecosystem as effective as possible, covering all the different aspects, meaning I want to build a business application effectively in a big team. I want to be able to transport my applications through my big system landscape. I want to be able to support afterwards that in the productive system. If there's an outage because of an error, I want to fix it quickly and all that stuff. And we provided that in ABAP. Think about the ABAP dictionary, where we have the complete data model in. If you add columns or change data types, then we take care of transforming the data, which is in the tables. Think about how we integrated everything which you need for business applications, like SQL if you want to access a database. Think about RFC if you want to connect to other systems. Think about authority check concerning user administration security. Everything is integrated directly in the programming language to make it as effective as possible to build these business applications. Concerning support, we all know you can debug directly in the productive system. You have the ABAP code at your fingertips. All that is included directly. And of course, we always try to be state of the art if you compare ABAP with other programming languages. Of course, we have object orientation included some decades ago. So we included ABAP Unit some decades ago. So if it's still not using it, it's mature enough now. So step by step, increment by increment, we added new functionality to ABAP, always trying to keep state of the art if you compare to other programming languages, and to include everything what you need in the new business world. So in the last millennium, internet popped up, of course, business server pages, Web Pro, and so on was included. So that we always have directly in ABAP what we need to build this business application as effective as possible. With S/4HANA, there was a big change happening. You all know S/4HANA is running on ABAP. All the different editions, be it on-premise, private cloud, or public cloud. With HANA, we had, of course, SAP HANA, the in-memory database. That was more or less one of the big cornerstones of SAP S/4HANA, because this memory database was exploited directly by that product. Additionally, there's a new UI, switching from Pro, SAP GUI to Fiori. And last but not least, of course, we have the cloud editions now, meaning we have SaaS applications and so on. That meant that, of course, we in ABAP had to ensure that all that is now part of the ABAP. Exploiting HANA using core data services. We did all the extensions to SQL. We start with this join that was already sophisticated, to be honest, in the old days. Now check what we have in SQL today in ABAP. And additionally, of course, ABAP managed database procedures so that you can build SQLs. And all that integrate directly in ABAP so that an ABAP developer don't have to care about all the technical details of HANA. You can directly code ABAP, concentrate on the business logic, and exploit HANA. The same was for Fiori. If thousands of SAP internal ABAP developers build a new S4, you need a standardized programming model to do that. The first version of that was paves-based, framework-based, in order to build these Fiori applications. And additionally, concerning cloud, we had a big task to cloud enable our ABAP platform. Operation of ABAP servers, upgrading the system must be automated, separation of concern. We must separate the stuff which is connected to the cloud operator and what is connected to the customer. That was a big task which we added. So now, to be brutally honest, concerning the Fiori programming model, we needed some, let's say, iterations to make it even better. So we started, as I explained, with the paves-based, framework-based, generic way to build these applications. But after some time, we recognized, okay, with always the benchmark, it should be as easy to build Fiori apps as you know it from the Dynpro-based applications, the GUI-based applications. That's always the benchmark. And we realized SAP internally, we're not good enough. And the main reason was that the programming model is not really tightly integrated in the ABAP. And it's not really part of the tool chain. It's somehow sitting on top with all the generic ABAP-based frameworks. And that's why we decided to start RAP, our ABAP RESTful programming model. And here we integrated really the programming model directly into the ABAP language. The business objects, behaviors, core data services, all that is now integrated into the language. You have the syntax check, you have type checking. So everything as you had it before in the Dynpro-based development model, it's now tightly integrated in the language itself. It's tightly integrated in the tooling so that you have a convenient developer efficiency, supportability, testing is ensured. That was really nice because, well, perhaps one sentence, have we reached now the level that it's as easy to build Fiori application as it was to build Dynpro-based applications? I think we are on track, but we haven't reached it yet, especially if I think about supportability/age or navigating from fields to the code and so on. I think there's some room for improvement, but we are really on a good track, let's say it like that. So what we have achieved here was now that we already have a really modern way how to develop ABAP. Fiori, RAP, core data services, exploiting HANA, and so on. But all this was more or less available for SAP internal developers who build cloud applications. But it was not available for partners and customers who wanted to provide a cloud solution. And that's why we decided that we provide all that on BTP for customers and partners. So we added ABAP as one of the allowed or supported runtimes on the BTP with the sub BTP ABAP environment 2018. That means partners and customers can use that platform as a service offering to build their own partner solutions or customer extensions on BTP. And we only allow here the modern ABAP development, meaning web, Fiori applications, and so on, what we have learned before. Additionally, since we are operating the sub BTP ABAP environment, meaning we, SAP, we, the ABAP department, upgrades the system quarterly, more or less, of the customers, we must ensure that the extension is really, really separated from our code, from the SAP code, to ensure that we can change more or less or upgrade the system without hampering or interfering with the extension. That's why we added more or less a new cloud-optimized ABAP language, which only allows the extensions to use released public APIs of SAP, no longer whatever you want. So not each and every function module of SAP can be used, but only the released APIs. Plus, You're no longer allowed to access the file system, operating system, because that's what we operate. And last but not least, all the old UI frameworks, call screen, and all that stuff is no longer possible. You really see syntax errors. So to be honest, that was more or less the starting point of ABAP Cloud, because here we already had everything of our cloud active and available for customers and partners, the new modern way to build cloud-ready applications with all the different ingredients. But we waited 4 years to mature that. So during these 4 years, starting 2018, after 4 years, we have a lot of customer extension, a lot of partner solutions, SAP solutions running on Steampunk, and all using this modern way to develop ABAP. And then we decided, okay, our new modern ABAP development model is good enough for prime time. We can provide this directly on S/4HANA as well. That means allowing customers to build ABAP extensions on stack directly on S/4HANA public cloud using that development model. And that was more or less, the code name was Embedded Steampunk. Perhaps you have heard about that, meaning you can use that development model embedded directly in S/4HANA. So first we launched it in S/4HANA public cloud, 2022, and then in private cloud and on-premise with the release 2022. And this now made it possible that everywhere you can use this new ABAP development model. The only thing that was missing was the name. We thought about, okay, we had ABAP 4, perhaps now it's ABAP 5. But since it's really optimized for the cloud, we chose ABAP Cloud as the new name for the programming model or the new development model, which is cloud optimized. And that's why we then launched during the TechEd 2022 ABAP Cloud. Perhaps you have seen that during the keynote. And we explained there, ABAP Cloud is your new development model to build modern cloud-ready ABAP applications. It's compliant with Clean Core. So if you use ABAP Cloud, you are 100% Clean Core. It's a no-brainer in the public cloud because here only Clean Core is allowed because we have these automated updates. You can use ABAP Cloud on BTP, as explained, that was the starting point, or directly on S/4HANA. And you can use it in all editions. You can use it in public cloud, in private cloud, and even on-premise. On the right side, you see the main ingredients, the bill of material of ABAP Cloud. So first of all, we provide the SAP APIs you need. There's 4 APIs, the ABAP Platform APIs, the extension points. So these stable APIs, which are not changed during upgrades. Second, we provide the cloud-optimized ABAP language. So that's the restricted ABAP language, where you, for example, see syntax errors for a call screen, or you see syntax errors if you call a function module which hasn't been released by SAP. Additionally, you use ABAP development tools, so SE80 is not allowed in that environment. And last but not least, you build with web, CDS, Fiori-based applications. That's what you're doing. You're not building Dynpro-based applications in ABAP Cloud. On the left, you see how you use it. You can use it directly on S/4HANA, or you use it on SAP BTP. And more or less, it's really the same development model. You use ABAP Cloud. If you know how to code with ABAP Cloud, you can use it on Steampunk, and you do it equally on S/4HANA. The only difference is, if you do it on BTP, you are sitting next to next, side by side to the S4. That's why you call remote services if you want to access the S4 system, and a data service, for example. Whereas if you are directly on the stack on S/4HANA, then, for example, you directly select the data using a release CDS view to retrieve the sales orders, as an example. That's the only difference. Okay, but the development model is absolutely identical. The main ingredients or cornerstones or boxes of the ABAP Cloud development model are illustrated here. First of all, of course, down there we have the database, SAP HANA. You access it using SQL or SQL script. Second is your data model is represented by core data services. So you're not directly accessing database tables, you use core data services. Or business objects like a business partner, a sales order, something like that. The actual logic is coded in the core data services, the SQL, or it's coded behind the behavior definitions in ABAP, of course. So create, update, delete of a sales order, for example. Please keep in mind, these objects are absolute reuse objects. At SAP, we have a big virtual data model containing the main CDS views to access our business data, for example, for a sales order, for a business partner, and so on. Additionally, there are dedicated business objects to create, update, delete, for example, a business partner, purchase order, sales order. So this is the reuse layer, more or less. And when you want to use these CDS views or these business objects, then you use services. If you want to build a Fiori app, then you use an UI service, be it V2 or V4 concerning the data. And then you can consume, for example, the sales orders in your Fiori application. Or you want to build an analytic app, then you use an INA service as an example, but still using the reuse objects underneath. You just more or less attach those via the services to your use case. And additionally, it's not only about apps. We add integration services as well. So for example, you can build a remote API like for extracting data out of your system as an example, directly sitting on top of the business objects using or data or HTTP or even events to whenever there's a change in a sales order as an example. Or down there, the integration service, sometimes the data is not coming from the database, but you're sitting, for example, on BTP and want to retrieve some data remotely from S/4HANA. Then you call via CDS in the remote service the data directly from the S/4HANA system. So you see, everything is included here for the different use cases, and it's standardized and optimized for reuse. ABAP is more than the programming language. That's why we have all the services attached. What we're doing now is step-by-step integrating services like job, like nodes, like output management directly into the programming model to make it easy to use these reuse services. Additionally, whenever you use ABAP, most of the product standards are directly fulfilled. Think about security, accessibility, functional correctness. The same here, we do everything possible to ensure that when you use that development model, that many of the product standards and already fulfilled with building qualities so that your stuff is extensible and so on. Concerning lifecycle management, we rely on the robust ABAP transport mechanism, and we add now step-by-step Git to more or less combine both of the best of both worlds. The robust ABAP transport mechanism together with Git, you know perhaps the name GCTS, which is behind all of that. And last but not least, we had this already on the radar, you use ADT for the backend coding, and you use BAS for the UI part, and we provide key user tools for the tiny business expert activities like adding a custom field or something like that. Good. I know the biggest challenge we have is to transform now the millions of ABAP developers who are experts in classic ABAP to ABAP Cloud. And that's not a minor change. That's really a big change, to be honest. And that's why we invested in sessions, you see some, where we explain how you can transform your knowledge, your ABAP knowledge, your ERP knowledge to the new world, from classic ABAP to ABAP Cloud. So I can really recommend these sessions so that you get a starting point how to learn ABAP Cloud. Good, so now we reached this curve here, ABAP Cloud, but if you know the Gebhardt road, then you know the summit is somewhere behind, some more curves, and it's the same for ABAP. We're not finished yet. The next thing we are doing is, and that's I think no surprise, AI. As explained, we always try to make you effective. And of course, if you see other development other programming languages. There is already AI support for Java and other programming languages. And that's to help you to code, generate code, unit test generation, explain code. And that's what we are doing currently. We invest that you get the same level of support in ABAP as well concerning AI functionality, so that you are on the same level as the other development environments. So now we have the complete picture in front of us concerning our evolution. And you see that step by step, we always add new capabilities to our very good foundation, which we had already with the ABAP. And we are doing that while, and we heard that at the beginning, while the global economy is running on all the ABAP-based ERP systems. And that makes me really proud that we achieved that we do all these new increments, new features, while we run the world's economy. And after that emotional statement, let's step to the second chapter, where and how to use now ABAP Cloud. The essential part is, and therefore that slide is really, really important for you. You see here the different products. On the right side, you see our SAP BTP ABAP environment. So that's the BTP. Here you build side-by-side extensions. That means ERP is here, BTP is here. On the left side, you see the different S/4HANA editions. First statement, you can use ABAP Cloud everywhere. That's really important. And it's really the same development model. The only exception is that you use remote APIs if you are on BTP. The second statement is, in public cloud, be it S/4HANA public cloud or BTP, only ABAP Cloud is allowed, no classic ABAP. Just because we need here the full clean core compatibility, we have automated updates, there's no way to use classic ABAP. In S/4HANA private cloud and on-premise, still classic ABAP is allowed. I think that's clear. We need that because we have a lot of legacy code which is in the system and so on. But that's what you have to keep in mind. The trend is clearly going to ABAP Cloud. We need classic ABAP still for on-premise and private cloud, especially for the legacy code, but step by step, especially new extensions should go for ABAP Cloud. If we now check the extensibility portfolio which you have in S/4HANA, then this picture will really help you to get an overview. First step, do I want to build an extension on the stack, on S/4HANA directly because it's tightly coupled? Or can I build it on BTP because it's loosely coupled? I will give you some examples on the next slide how to decide on that. If we now start on the left side, so you build an on-stack extension, then the nice thing is, at least for us, only ABAP is available because S/4HANA is sitting on ABAP platform. And if you build something on top, then of course you have to use ABAP. And there are two choices. First of all, you can use key user tools. That means these Fiori-based tools to add a custom field, custom logic. It was even part of the demo at Sapphire. Or you use the complete IDE and you use ADT to build a full-blown ABAP Cloud extension. Both are part of ABAP Cloud. Or you build a side-by-side extension, then you have the complete possibilities to use other development environments like Java or JavaScript or use ABAP Cloud. So you're now separated on a separate platform on the BTP. And here you can choose sub-build for low-code, no-code. You can use sub-build code for Java, JavaScript. So CAP. I've even seen CAP on one of the trousers. And you can use sub-BTP ABAP environment for ABAP Cloud development. Okay, so that's the enchilada of possibilities you have here. And of course, in on-premise or private cloud, you can still use on-stack classic ABAP, but that's not what we see as clean core. Okay? Good. Now, when to use which extensibility option, on-stack or side-by-side? Here, I want to give you some examples. On-stack means tightly coupled. What means tightly coupled? That could mean I'm tightly coupled to a Fiori app of SAP. I'm tightly coupled to SAP data. I'm tightly coupled to an SAP process. So consider you want to add a field, a new field, to an existing SAP S/4HANA Fiori application. This makes no sense to build this via BTP. You use key user tools on stack. Okay. Second example, you want to join in your extension a lot of SAP data, but only some data which is in your custom table. Option 1, replicate everything to BTP and then do it there. Option 2, directly use in SQL, joining data. More effective is, of course, doing that directly on stack, as an example. And third example, you are part of a process of SAP. You want to update your data together with the SAP data in one logical unit of work. So with one commit, your data plus the SAP data shall be updated. Of course, you do this on stack as well because you want to be part of that logical unit of work. So that means tightly coupled, to give you some examples. On the other hand, on BTP, that's your choice when you are loosely coupled. When you benefit from the fact that you are separated concerning infrastructure, you're on a different platform, you can scale independently, you have other SLAs, other downtimes, and so on. So just two examples which show when you must use BTP. First of all, think about a shop which you want to provide. It doesn't make any sense that the clients of the shop access your ERP system. They don't even have users, okay? So that means you need to separate this out. Second example would be consider hub scenario. You have an extension which accesses several ERP systems that can be easily done on BTP. Why should this one a dedicated ERP system? And last but not least, think you are a partner and you want to provide a SaaS solution, a real cloud SaaS solution, meaning clients are then subscribing to your solution and you operate that partner solution. That can't be done on stack because you must separate it out so that you can operate it on your own, okay? So these are examples when you absolutely have to use BTP. So now, step by step, I will explain you how you use ABAP Cloud in the different products. We start with our sub BTP ABAP environment, so we start with side by side. Side by side, we have here our Steampunk, our SAP BTP ABAP environment. First of all, quarterly updates. So 4 times a year, you get a new version of our ABAP platform into your system. That means you have always the newest ABAP features and the newest HANA features in that system. Okay? Additionally, you use only the released APIs of the ABAP platform. These are the local APIs, or use remote APIs of S/4HANA. What are the main usage scenarios for ABAP Cloud? Customers use that to build loosely coupled extensions to their ERP system. Partner use that to build multi-tenant SaaS solutions, as explained. That's the only way to do that. You can't do that on stack. You have to do this on BTP. You may use JavaScript, if you want to go for ABAP, and you want to provide a multi-tenant SaaS application as a partner, then you use the BTP ABAP environment. A short lab review, we want to add the possibility that partners can build add-ons and provide those so that customers who have already a Steampunk instance can download those. Okay, that would be then a second option. It's obvious that that's a use case as well, but it's a lab review, we are working on that. And last but not least, and really important for you, you can use it for education. Because we have free tier, we have a trial account, it's always the newest ABAP. So if you want to learn ABAP Cloud, that's what you can more or less leverage. Just go to the trial account, you have the link there, and then you can get your fingers directly on ABAP Cloud, on the newest version of ABAP, in order to find out what ABAP Cloud is about. So now we step to on-stack to S/4HANA. So we build now ABAP Cloud extensions directly on the stack, and we start with S/4HANA Public Cloud. So first of all, in S/4HANA Public Cloud, you have twice a year new release. It's an automated update. That means during the weekend, all the systems are updated. The on-stack extensions which you can build with ABAP Cloud are really sitting on the S4 stack. They use the same application stack and the same HANA database as the actual S4 apps. It's comparable what you do with ABAP on-premise from a stack perspective. So if you would check that in the debugger, you would see your code and then the SAP code underneath. Okay, it's really embedded. It's really part of the S4 system. You use only released APIs, nothing else is allowed. You can only use the CDS views, the web facades, the classes, and so on, SAP provided and released. Of course, you can use BTP as well to integrate with extensions which are sitting on BTP. You use ADT to develop this stuff, or you use the key user tools, for example, to add a custom field as an example. And all that is 100% Clean Core compliant, of course, because only Clean Core compliant extensibility options are provided, since we have these automated updates. We can't allow anything else. Usage types for customers. So if you are an S/4HANA Cloud Public Edition customer, then you use, and you have a tightly coupled scenario, then you can use ABAP Cloud to build an extension directly on S/4HANA Public Cloud, following the ABAP Cloud rules. For partners, there are different options. First of all, we have the possibility for one-offs. That means you have some ABAP Cloud code, which we want to more or less deliver to one customer. We have multi-off using Git repositories where you can ship this to 5 to 10 customers. And what we plan, again, lab preview, is a scalable solution, meaning that's add-on-like, that partners can provide add-ons, ABAP Cloud add-ons, which then can be downloaded by S/4HANA Public Cloud customers. Okay, then we have the complete picture again and the complete portfolio for partners. Now we step to S/4HANA Private Cloud in on-premise. We focus on S/4HANA Private Cloud again. We speak about on-stack at the moment. So in S/4HANA Private Cloud, you have every 2 years a new release. This has been changed. Second, per se, an S/4HANA Private Cloud is not Clean Core because we have classic custom code in there. Customers can use classic custom code. So it's a journey to get to a Clean Core. Why should you do that? Why is Clean Core of interest? The idea behind that is, of course, that you want to have easy upgrades. The extension shall not be in your way when you do an upgrade. When you want to consume new innovations from SAP, you don't want to get an interference with all your extensions. The general idea is to achieve that we reuse the public cloud extensibility model in S/4HANA Private Cloud as well. Meaning, we have seen how you extend S/4HANA Public Cloud on stack with our cloud or use BTP. For new extensions, that's the recommendation for S/4HANA Private Cloud as well. Okay, but we all know the reality in S/4HANA Private Cloud. That's why it wouldn't be realistic to just say, do it like in the public cloud. Good luck. Okay, because first of all, the S/4HANA Private Cloud has a really big scope, much bigger compared to the public cloud. That's why we must add classic APIs, because not each and every component has new APIs. So for classic APIs, for example, ABAP. And second, customers will have or have legacy custom code. In average, they have 20,000 custom code objects per system. And that's the reality. And that's why we provide the so-called 3-tier extensibility model, which shall help customers to realistically move step by step to a clean core. And you see the idea here on the right side. First of all, we have tier 1. That's completely identical to the public cloud. That means whenever you build something new, your default is go for on-stack ABAP Cloud or go for BTP. Okay? Second, if an API, if a new released API or core data service is missing, we provide classic APIs which you can enable via tier 2. That means you build a wrapper, set code wrapper around this API, enable it and release it for your ABAP Cloud consumption. That ensures that you can use that throughout the system, and you're not limited if one of those APIs are missing. And last but not least, tier number 3, that contains your legacy custom code. Here you have the classic ABAP more or less inside. And here the idea is, of course, to reduce it and manage it. First step, reduce. Easy one is get rid of the stuff you're not using. I think you know all the tools like UPL or SCMon and what we have there in order to retire old stuff which you're not using. Second one is, if you have a clear business case, okay, that extensibility scenario, which is still classic ABAP, I want to renovate or I want to build it from scratch because I need a View UI, I need a mobile app, whatsoever. Then if you do that, please do it in tier 1, not again with Pro. Okay? Then you use tier 1, you build perhaps a BTP application, perhaps you build a View application directly on stack. And last but not least, we invest currently that for the rest of the code which you have, that we find the troublemakers in your system concerning upgrades. That's because it's not realistic that all of a sudden you renovate 20,000 ABAP programs which you have the legacy code. Therefore, we must find those which are really making trouble during the upgrade. And that's what we're currently investing in, to select those so that you can adapt those in a way that they are not in the way during the upgrade. So that's step by step how we want to transform you to a model that you get to a clean core and the upgrades are less painful. So usage types concerning on-stack ABAP Cloud development. So you, as a developer, if you're on a customer system, you develop on one. If you have new extensions, you build them with ABAP Cloud. If there's a clear business case to renovate one of your applications which you have in the classic ABAP, please do this with ABAP Cloud or on BTP. And for partners, they shall use the same rules, meaning please build those add-ons which you build newly, again, in tier 1 concerning ABAP Cloud or BTP. The right side we had already. That's the new developer trial, which is out there, even with the newest release now. And that is, okay, there's even a better one, but it's now the version which includes ABAP Cloud. And you can use it and download it, and we will provide the next version as well. So that's always up to date. Good. To summarize, so what you have seen, hopefully, ABAP Cloud is not just a buzzword. It's really relevant for you as an ABAP developer. It's the new way how you develop ABAP. In the public cloud, no other development model concerning ABAP is available. There is no classic ABAP. In the private cloud, ABAP Cloud is the standard for new extensions. So therefore, it's really essential that you learn web, CDS, how to consume released APIs, ADT even, yes, yeah, ABAP unit. That's really essential because that's the new standard which we are driving. And we have demos, and so that you can see all that stuff, not only on slides, but really in the system, in the keynote 3 p.m. with Volker. And then you see how all this is working. And if you want to know what's next, meaning what is on the roadmap concerning ABAP Cloud, here's the link. We always publish what we plan in the next releases in ABAP Cloud for the different products, S/4HANA, public, private cloud, BTP, so that you always know beforehand which new features we plan. And with that, thank you very much. Enjoy ABAPConf and learn a lot about ABAP Cloud. Thank you very much.
So wait a second, wait a second. First, any questions? Seriously? So in the meantime, I'm also searching for Kavaskil Tugrul. I have your passport.
Okay, Boris, thank you for the nice presentation. I have one question about the law, the previous slide about the S/4HANA private cloud. You mentioned that it's now 2 years in between. Does that mean that we have to wait for the ABAP Cloud part also in that stack 2 years, or will there be updates for the ABAP layer in between, and that is only one main S/4HANA private cloud release to that one?
So here you see it again. The new releases every 2 years. That means really the big releases, the upgrades, you know them. For example, our S/4HANA colleagues provide feature packages to provide features in between. And concerning, for example, APIs or nominations of classic APIs, we will not wait for a new release. This can happen in between.
Yeah, but for example, if they upgrade the BGPF part in the ABAP Cloud, that will be then also...
Correct. If you have technology features, for example, which need deep kernel integration, so really big new inventions that can't be provided via feature packages, that means from technology perspective, in S/4HANA private cloud, you have to wait then these 2 years. That's correct. But keep in mind, on the other hand, on the BTP, you're always up to date. So if you build something there, you have always the newest stuff. In S/4HANA Private Edition concerning technology, you are right, then you have to wait the 2 years until the next release comes up.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Nice one. Yeah, thanks for presentation, Boris. I was happy to hear that you mentioned GCTS as the fundamental technology behind it. But the main question, when we expect it to be presented in the Steampunk as well, where we can deliver changes via GCTS to the cloud?
Perhaps you can repeat, it was hard to understand down there.
So my question is when we can use GCTS, GCTS in the cloud?
So GCTS, you mean the Git-based transport mechanism?
Absolutely.
Is already used in Steampunk. So that's the more or less what we use directly. We don't have used the classic transport mechanism in Steampunk, but we use GCTS. But what we haven't achieved yet is that you have the full control on your Git and so on.
Correct.
Still hidden behind Fiori apps. We are working on that. Why is that so complicated? Because we must secure more or less our system. Because if you do changes in Git, which are not compliant to ABAP Cloud, and you just import those more or less in the system, then of course this will not work. That's why it's not as trivial to open this up more or less. And that's why currently it's hidden behind these applications, which you know. But of course, it's the goal that we step by step open this up so that you can use the complete power of Git in Steampunk as well.
Sounds good. And just maybe as a wish, when you deliver it for the public use, it would be very great if you could also deliver the reusable pipeline for DevOps, like the whole experience, not just a tool, but the whole experience, how we can deliver changes to the cloud using Git.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things, if you want to combine the benefits of both worlds, then of course CI/CD pipelines, that's one of the benefits you are waiting for.
Of course.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Someone else?
Thank you for the presentation. I had a quick question about add-on features that would come as to provide like programs to other customers, etc. Do you have a timing on when that would be available? Because I guess it will be much smoother than the current GTDS solution.
Concerning the general roadmap, that was more or less that slide. Here we really publish all the different features which we provide. And you will see here really the release. The other point which you explained concerning other steps in between, which makes it easier to use Git more or less, perhaps you can discuss this afterwards in one of the coffee corners, because that might be a lengthy answer.
So I have a question regarding tier 2 objects. So we are right now in a supporting a client wherein we have developed a lot of tier 2 extensions. Like there were no CDS available, there were no API classes available. So we slowly started with our public cloud journey, but now we have a lot of tier 2 objects stacked up. We would like to move them to the public cloud, but most of these classes and tables are non-release CDS are not available in embedded Steampunk. So how do we solve these kind of problems?
So first of all, what you do in tier 2 is, and that's for example, a class wrapper around ABAP. That's an example for one of the wrappers. In S/4HANA Private Cloud, you do that because you have a lot more components in there which are not part of the public cloud.
Yeah.
That means if you have a wrapper for an API for ABAP for functionality which is only in private cloud but not in public cloud, then this will not work to transform this to public cloud because the application itself will not be there. You understand what I mean? The scope is different. Okay, therefore, it's not so much the wrapper, it's more, for example, if you have a certain module in S4, which is only available in private cloud, but not in public cloud, if you extend this in the private cloud, then you can transform this, of course, to the public cloud. Okay?
Okay.
It really depends on the scope.
Okay.
And additionally, keep in mind that, of course, the pose is a little bit different as well, or a big difference. So just copying one-to-one extensions from private cloud to public cloud will be no easy task.
Okay.
That should be clear. Good.
I think we are good.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate the conference here.